These fountains, which are found in a number of city center areas around Milan, still provide potable drinking water today and are reminiscent of the aqueduct outlets that were used for public consumption of water in the Roman era. This is another public water source, similar to what we saw in Milan. Now, this can be used for drinking. We've seen people using it to wash their laundry in their hands. These are a number of more mundane functions that it serves.
But while most monuments stand as desolate reminders of a forgotten period, these running fountains create an organic sense of life for what might otherwise be an ancient, dead society.
Una fontana senza acqua è come una cosa morta che non vive, no? Perché anche le fontane sono state disegnate perché parte del disegno è anche l'acqua, per far parlare le fontane.
If you look around Florence, you'll find a number of historical monuments that this actually complements in a very interesting way, providing a historical feel to the entire city.
Diciamo che l'acqua nelle fontane ha più un aspetto ornamentale, decorativo.
But these aspects highlight the atmospheric reasons for such an elaborate fountain system. And while it's true that the free water is commonly used by pedestrians, indoor plumbing has relieved most all Italians from dependence on these public fountains.
Tutti pensano che i romani forse non hanno molta acqua in casa e vanno a prendere l'acqua alle fontane. No, non è così.
The ambiance created by this visible water is of far more value to Italians on a societal level. It enchants tourists, and in doing so, it feeds the tourism-heavy system. This single industry envelops a surprising percent of Italy's overall economy.
Se parliamo di tourism economics, si può arrivare, dipende dagli anni naturalmente, intorno al 12-15%, può incidere, ma tutto, 12% forse è la stima più realistica. Se restringiamo invece solo a tourism industry, più stretto, siamo intorno al 6-7%.
Much of this profit goes to the business owners and can only be collected through taxes for the maintenance of the historical constructions that draw in so many tourists.
Ci sono le tasse che pagano i proprietari degli alberghi, le tasse che paga il turista di consumo, tutto questo va in un fondo generale.
Maintenance funding is not provided from the revenue of the patronage of these sites, at least not directly. For the attractions themselves, the monuments and churches, funding must be reallocated from tourism revenue at the national level.
Roma sicuramente destina molti soldi alla manutenzione, però di questo se ne occupa direttamente, visto che non c'è il Ministero dei Beni Culturali. C'è un ministero proprio per i beni culturali, di cui monumenti, archeologia, eccetera, e tutto questo sono soldi che spende il Ministero dei Beni Culturali.
It is the Department of Cultural Heritage that oversees and reallocates tourism revenue as it sees fit. This is supplemented by some outside sources.
Anche la Comunità Europea, quindi l'European Union, ha dato fondi per rimettere a posto delle chiese, dei monumenti.
Though quite difficult to estimate exactly, a substantial portion of the revenue of tourism is fed back into care for the monuments on which so much of Italy's economy depends.
Di tutto il profit che viene dal turismo, penso che negli ultimi anni si spende molto di più che in passato e potremmo dire che stiamo intorno ad un 20, ragionevolmente tra il 20 e il 30%. Questi monumenti sono costati molti soldi e molto lavoro, il Colosseo è costato molto lavoro, ma portano anche tanti soldi, quindi è giusto spendere anche per quelli.
The upkeep of these historical pieces serves both to pay homage to the rich heritage of the Italian people, as well as to perpetuate the tourism which is so crucial.
Noi abbiamo un budget molto grande per gestire tutti questi beni, che noi chiamiamo beni culturali, perché i monumenti sono la cosa più visibile subito.
But some allocations of this budget came under scrutiny in the mid-90s. especially by Pietro Guzzo, the Soprintendente of Pompeii.
Professor Guzzo was certainly instrumental, pioneering in this approach.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people were making money out of this site in a less than sort of open manner.
Pompeii presents an interesting case study because it is the only site in Italy which is given both the power and responsibility of financial autonomy.
Right up until the mid to late 1990s, all the money that came into Pompeii was then sent to Rome, to the Beni Culturali, the administration of all the archaeological and historical sites throughout Italy as a whole. It's now the decision of those who run Pompeii as to how that money is being spent and how much actually stays here. So it's a completely new system, and we've seen the benefits. Today, there are half a dozen houses that are having hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of investment put into them to present them to the public, and that is part of this new initiative to keep money here and to control it from here.
That is not to say that these changes were altogether popular, especially among the local population.
It, of course, actually had it has bigger effects on the broader community here as well, because Pompeii is not in a bubble. Any kind of major change that you'd have to what is ostensibly the economy, the modern economy of ancient Pompeii, has to have had huge effects on the modern economy of modern Pompeii as well. And so some of these changes weren't greeted with the same kind of enthusiasm by people around here.
For all the positive consequences which have come from the unearthing of this city, the negative effects of its new exposure are also numerous. The increase in funding which Pompeii produces due to its autonomy allows its administrators to commit more funding to restoration projects, but these projects are becoming increasingly necessary.